Thanks for joining us today. My name is Megan McGuire with LogLogic. I'm the Technical Training Manager here, and I have years of experience coming from a Cisco certified network engineering background, going into security engineering, and of course, I'm now here with LogLogic, and I'm very excited to see these two product families come together in such a great solution. Now, I realize that the name LogLogic may be a new name to some people who are on the call, but we are a global leader in the SIEM space, and we're a premier member of the ecosystem that Mark just talked about. Gartner and Bloor recognize us as being leaders in their quadrants, and we specialize in selling systems that simplify the complexity of this SIEM world. The majority of our money comes from customers who have more than $1 billion in revenues, that have more than 4,000 employees. But we have a good set of products that are aimed at the lower end of the market, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, everyone knows what Mars does, and it's very good at what it does. But as Mark said, the market has grown up a little bit. We have some different technology than is what has been traditionally provided by security and Mars. And so when customers come to LogLogic, they're usually looking for one or more of three things. They either need to be more compliant, they are interested in maybe watching out for social or more constraints on their data, they need to improve their security status in some way, or they want to operate a more efficient IT operations structure. And if we look at the business drivers that send customers to us, they're looking for these same three needs that are underneath. They want big flashing lights that let them know that something's gone wrong. They need an alarm that says, my firewall's just been breached, my database is leaking data into the internet, my routers have gone down, my ASA is not performing the way it should. And once that alarm has gone off, then they need more information. So they need to be able to investigate. For instance, like when you come home and you've had a night out and you realize your house has been burglarized, it's nice to have the alarm go off. But you also need that CSI team to find the fingerprints and paste together the details of what happened so that hopefully you can catch the bad guys. After an alarm in the SIEM space, the most requested thing is this searching and reporting. You need to know who else did what. Who authorized it, who made changes. You need full audit trails of everything that happened across your system. And then the third part of this SIEM story is that you need to document all of that and maybe provide some reporting and evidence for compliance purposes. As IT professionals, you either need to stand up in front of your boss and say, hey, this is what happened. We were breached. This is the way our security stood. This is how we've improved it. And this is how we're not going to be breached again. And in compliance cases, you need to go to an auditor and say, look at this. I am PCI compliant, and here's how I can prove it to you, and here's my policy, and let me show you how I followed it. And those are the things that a good SIEM vendor is going to give you. They'll give you alerting. They'll give you not just basic alerting, but detailed alerting. They'll give you searching and reporting, and not just basic searching and reporting, but truly scalable, quick return, incredible searching and reporting. Now, we're unique within this ecosystem because we put equal focus in all three places. There are some vendors out there that do great searching and discovery, and there's some vendors out there that do great alerting, but we actually try to do more by combining the three. To achieve that, you need a pretty sophisticated portfolio. Now, we break our portfolio into three basic buckets, or silos. This is get, see, use. Now, the get silo is the universal collection technology, which we use to capture IT data from just about anywhere in your organization. So this is where LogLogic reaches out and grabs all that syslog, all that NetFlow, all the Cisco IPS logs, and we tunnel it, whether it's through a WAN or a LAN, wherever, to our central IT data warehouse. That is our C technology. Now, the central warehouse is where we do all the Google searching and all the quick searching, all the indexing kind of thing. We take this information in, we normalize it, we enrich it, we cross-reference it, we make it available to our analytic engine on the use side of the slide, and we store it. I'll talk more about that. Now, with the analytics and the use side, we have some of the best workflow engines in the marketplace. These are our visualization tools. These are our panes of glass to get at this stored data and do what we need to do with it. We have the most advanced and simple-to-use correlation engine. We have a compliance manager that maps people and processes automatically against your mandates. And we also recognize that no matter what visualization tools you're using, sometimes you just don't have everything. So you need to be able to forward from the data warehouse to other analytics engines, no matter what the vendor that you may choose to use, because this is important to the customer. Now, there are many examples of where LogLogic is deployed to get the IT data, to build the IT data warehouse using the ST technology, and we forward to Q1 or ArcSight, and then we forward it to LX boxes for forensics. So with our unique IT data warehouse, customers get to centralize all that log data in one place, store it securely, and then mix and match with the visualization tools that are necessary. Now, today we're going to focus on the bottom little slice of this slide, which is our standalone box that does the correlation, the ringing of the alarm, and the forensics and the compliance. Now, I want to spend just a little bit of time talking about this particular value, and there are some use cases that Cisco has recognized that are key to security, compliance, and efficient IT operations. And the portfolio of devices I just showed you is capable of exceeding the demands in all those use cases. Unlike MARS, we take not only Cisco logs, but other application logs, operating systems, database logs, vulnerability scan logs, and as I said, we then generate reports or pass these things to any of your analytic engines. Now, the MX range of appliances, this sort of all-in-one appliance, does all kinds of things. We can store up to 90 days of live data. This is data that's available for immediate access. This is going to be what we're going to base reports on, things like that. At the end of 90 days, it doesn't throw that information away. It archives the original data in a searchable and protected way for up to 1 year. We have 2 terabytes of storage on this box. This is perfect when you need to comply with mandates like PCI. Having all that data speedily to hand is nice, but making sense of it is even nicer, and that's why the MX showcases the most advanced forensics workflow of any manufacturer in this space. We offer you summary reports of the data, multiple search technologies, real-time data analysis, basic alerting, and the ability to pass this on to the analytics engines that we'll talk about today. Also, this comes in either vanilla or your favorite brand of compliance legislation, like PCI or HIPAA or SOX or FISMA or even the standards like ISO and ITIL. And we also publish open APIs so that our systems can be extended or integrated in ways that may perfectly suit customer needs, but that we can't even really imagine. Now, the MX range is perfect as a low-cost compliance solution. It provides all the alerting, searching, and reporting that you need on either near-term activity or archived data. And it's tailored to the IT management needs of small and mid-sized businesses. MX appliances help you address your specific compliance and security needs. They're perfect for investigating the recent past as a way of understanding today's events and issues. They allow you to track VPN access, monitor the health of your hardware and applications, and even perform change alerting across the board. They'll let you easily track the fluid provisioning of virtual environments and spot problems before they become big ones. The MX lets customers keep on top of all of their data, people, and systems, reducing the time to resolution of security events. It improves security and efficiency and gives customers the tools they need to take the next step in good management and comply with a proven operating methodology, whether it's ISO, ITIL, or something more business critical like PCI. And because they're designed and priced for the small to medium-sized business, they're easy to install, configure, operate, and maintain. Of course, many people don't want to deploy appliances these days, and so we have a couple of options. First, you can use the MX as a virtual appliance, and you can provide your own hardware. And the process is not quite as plug-and-play as installing on a physical appliance, but it has a lot of benefits. The second option is for you to buy logging as a service from a partner. And we have several that provide the MX Virtual as a way of providing that service. Of course, we do also sell the appliance with the latest and greatest hardware. Now, you may have already seen this slide, but I just wanted to reemphasize the fact that we have all the Cisco devices covered. And we're able to, with that universal collection technology, collect from all the different types of event sources that are out there and bring them into one centralized data store, which is this MX that we're going to go dip into and get the results from. And you'll actually see me demo that as well today. Now, here's the hardware side of it, right? This definitely comes with an awful lot of storage. You see here the full hardware spec. We really ship out only a very robust forensics solution. And we do have the virtual version available that you might be able to put on your ISR and UCS blades. So now you have the ability to go out and sell more security devices knowing you have all the backup visibility tools you need. So we have a full bundle here. And the reason that we're having this conversation today is that we wanted to show you all the cool technology that we have so that in conjunction, it can help you to sell maybe more ASAs, more IPS, more different Cisco products altogether. Now, some of the standout features, which nobody else has, is what I've listed here. And I don't necessarily intend to go through them on this slide because I'm going to show you during the demo. But MX appliances will ship with compliance reports, so we'll talk to you about that. And they give you some really interesting and unique tools to not only understand the final alert, that red flashing light, but also to understand the issue of what else happened, which is where so many fall short. Just as an example, I won't spend much time here, but we do have these compliance suites, and we have compliance suites of all different flavors. And the idea behind this, I'll show you this in the demo as well, is that these suites are going to provide you with those built-in reports and alerts and even filters so that once you get them, searching and filtering through that data becomes quite simple, just a matter of a click. So I'm going to go ahead and move into the demo. Give me just a moment, and I'll go ahead and bring that up. All right. Can we all see the demo screen?
Just fine.
Great, great. Okay. So let's talk about the power of Cisco and LogLogic. And I'll show you some of these features that I was talking about in the slides. First things first, you know, everyone wants the end result. So when I tell you this story through the demo, I'm really going to start at the end, which is the alert. In order to get this alert, you have to understand that we're going to be collecting the information from all of the different devices, all the different Cisco devices, all the different types of servers and maybe databases and other things in the back end. We're going to be consolidating them on this data store and then reaching into that data store and pulling out this relevant information. And the relevant information is what you're seeing right here. We deeply understand Cisco events of all types. When we see them, we are able to dynamically identify the device that they belong to. We're able to group them into the correct Cisco device category, and we're able to do what you see here, which is to define them, to pull out the information, and to give them a priority. So when we do this, now what you're seeing is connection established or TCP high port sweep. And you can see the source and you can see the target and you understand how important we consider that event to be. And you're seeing this in one pane of glass. But this is interesting. What's really, in the end, the goal is to come up with alerts out of these thousands or hundreds of thousands of events from all of these different servers and devices. We want to come up with those few truly actionable issues that you need to pay attention to. And this is where our advanced correlation comes into play. We can do things like detect successful attacks based on information from multiple sources. And this is one of my examples today. For instance, in this case, we're taking a look at 3 different devices. We have a Cisco IPS reporting to us, we have an ASA firewall, and we have a server. And what's happening here is we're actually getting a successful attack detected based on a couple of things. First, the fact that the IPS actually detected an event. So let me drill down into this and show you what information we have. This IPS said, hey, there's an attack going on that I think is happening on this server, right? Second, we have information from the server that said, hey, there's configuration activity going on the server. Now, maybe that configuration activity by itself would not be of interest, but when we correlate that with the attack detection and then finally with the ASA reporting that there's an excessive amount of traffic coming from that server, we can reliably conclude that we have a true attack and that we need to pay attention to this, and that's the power of correlation. Once we have detected that attack, then we can also acknowledge it, and we can move this through resolution with you. So we'll walk through our workflow. I'll go ahead and create our incident out of this attack. And now that we have an incident, we can move into the incident and we can follow this all the way through. So we can assign this to responsible parties, we can understand the attack methods, we can do research, and we can determine what we're going to do about it, including do things like patch the system. What's the name of the patch? Are we going to install software? Are we going to change the password? We get a time and date stamp for when we expect to do these things, and another one for when we've actually completed the action. Well, this is all at the end of the detection cycle, and being able to create good, clear correlation rules to come to these alerts and incidents is important. But the way that you get there is to also ask yourself, not just, oh, I got this alert, I have to go research it, but now what else happened? Because we know these things don't happen in a vacuum. So now I've had this security alert, I need to go into the analytics tool and understand that all of my data is there, all of my logs across all of my systems. Now here in the analytics tool, I'm showing you the snapshot of my dashboard. And I'm actually going to go through and talk to you about the way that we do the analytics and how we're going to move from things like this particular use case into looking at the surrounding alerts and options. So to begin with, let's talk about this idea that we have all of the data coming in from all of these different devices and that we are automatically grouping these, and we can dynamically group them as well, based on log source type. So we have all kinds of different log sources coming in, whether they're Cisco sources or other types of sources, and we can auto-identify. So I understand this is an ASA, this is a different type of Cisco router, this is a Cisco IDS, whatever it might be. We've discovered those, and then we've typed those, and now we support over 300 different types of devices natively in our collection operations. So you don't have to worry about different collectors for different sources. And as we send them all here, we have multiple powerful tools to go dive into what else happened in the system. This is our data store. We have these tools of reports, of powerful fast searches, and of alerts. So if we're going to take a look at reports, the reports that we have built into the system, and we have hundreds of reports built in, and all these reports can be templates so that you can tweak them and tune them to see what you need. The types of reports that we have built in include things like threat management and network activity. So if I'm interested in what else might have happened, maybe I'm interested in finding out what the traffic was that was either accepted or denied across my firewall during the same time frame as the attack. Maybe I'm interested in finding out what was the risky firewall traffic at that same time, and I've got a report ready to go that I can run for a particular time frame. Now, I may put the time frame in of the attack. I'm just going to go ahead and run this demo report for this hour, and now immediately I can see what firewall traffic passed through and which messages were involved. And if I see something interesting, wait a minute, why was this particular server communicating? Here, I can drill down, and I can get more detailed information on who, when, what, and why. Well, that's interesting, but let's go even further. I have the ability to take a look at things like an application distribution report. This is going to tell me about all the different types of applications that are running on my network so that I can see immediately that 93% of my traffic is SMTP. Is that a surprise on my network? Maybe, maybe not. I can also do things like display a handy chart. So here's the breakout, and I'm interested in what this little sliver of traffic is right here. And you can see we have this native view. So being able to get that information and get at that information quickly is very important. We also have the ability to run all kinds of different reports that have to do with compliance packages. We have PCI, SOX, COBIT, all kinds of different initiatives that will produce other reports, additional reports, beyond the ones that we have built into the system, which will be appropriate for those compliance initiatives. So let's imagine that we've identified some unusual traffic, and we may want to go further. Every single piece of traffic that passes through, or every single Cisco message, is going to be indexed, which means that we can use our leading search technology to get you results when you're searching for specific terms very quickly. So in this case, I am going to take a look at a search across a couple of specific devices. So I'll choose the devices. Let's see. Maybe I'm interested in all Cisco devices. I have the ability to do that by type, maybe by IP address, or by the dynamic groups that we talked about, maybe PCI compliant servers. But in this case, I'm interested in a couple of specific machines. So I will find, let's see where they are. There we go. I'll pick this particular machine, set that as my search, and then run. Now, I'm retrieving all the messages on this machine for the last hour. Okay, that's interesting. But let's do something better with the data. First things first. We parse, like I said, over 300 different sources, and of course all the Cisco sources. And by parse, I mean we understand the metadata. This is the time, this is the source IP, this is the facility severity, this is different sorts of information. But maybe you want to pull information out of logs in a custom way. Maybe you want to pull information out of some proprietary application logs so that you can use that in correlation or searching with the Cisco information. So this is the way that we do it. It's actually quite unique. We can choose a log and then tag it. We call this creating a message pattern. Here's the log. Out of that log, I'm sure there is specific information that we want to identify. So if we choose auto-identify tags, our system is going to take a swig at it. And maybe I want to change some of these tags, but the idea here is that I can go directly to the information that I need. For instance, the important thing here is the interface. Here it is. I'm going to define this field. Notice that I've written the regular expression automatically for it, and then I'm going to choose a tag name, interface. Here we go. Perfect. Now maybe I want to choose the state. Change state to what? Okay, I'm going to define this. This is a word, and is this going to be state? Great. Now I've tagged this log the way I want it to be tagged, and I can choose an event type if I want. I can define this. Maybe I'm going to define this as port down, state changed. And I can do an automatic validation. Of course, I need to name my pattern, so let's call this port down. Now I'll go through this log store, and I'll find the past hour, all the logs that matched the information in the log that I just put in, and I can see now, from now on, I'm going to parse out the date, the interface port, and the state. And I can use this in all my future searching and alerting. So in this case, I have all the information on all the different ports for this particular server. I can move into my options, and I can remove some unnecessary fields. Make the report something more usable, great. I can also then choose to group based on different criteria. In this case, since I pulled out this interface port tag, I can actually choose to group based on that tag, and for this device, In this time frame, I can see all the activity that happened on the particular interface or port. Maybe something unusual happened. I want to know what on earth happened 55 times. I can drill down to those specific logs, and if I want to, I can collapse to metadata to get a very clean view. And of course, I can always save this as a search filter. I can restore this. I can clip these messages to the clipboard. I can even save this as a recurring report, and I can run it on my dashboard. Now on this dashboard, you're also maybe seeing that we have some alerting here as well. We do the basic alerting here, things like IT operational alerting. And setting that up is actually quite simple. When we manage our alerts, not only do we have multiple alerts that come with our compliance packs, things like device restarts, failover performed, login failure, but we also have built-in alerts, whether it's system alerts or whether it's alerts that have to do with the various custom reports that you've generated, login succeeded, etc. When we set up an alert, we simply let it know where we would like the alert to be distributed to, and we can send alerts via SNMP or syslog or email, and then whether or not to show it on the screen. And of course, we're going to be feeding all this information to the appropriate visualization tools, whether it's the Security Event Manager, whether it's some sort of Compliance Manager, whether it's some other visualization tool that you need to use. You have access to this central store. Now, this dashboard is showing me, for instance, real-time security event numbers, system event numbers, how much data is being ingested in my system, the different origins for attacks according to a particular PCI filter. And all of these can be customized. I can easily add and create new widgets so that I'm in control of my dashboard and I can see exactly the reports and information that I would to see at exactly the right time. We also, I want to mention one more time, are supporting the comprehensive range of the devices in the environment. So when we talk about providing compliance reports, we have the ability to do that in a generalized way and a specific way, Cisco specific or perhaps specific to a group of devices relevant to a specific thing like PCI, whatever the customer needs. And for those customers who are interested in adding this sort of centralized device or centralized repository to an existing MARS deployment, they can centralize the collection via this MX3020 and then use our advanced forwarding capability to forward logs to the existing MARS product, and they won't miss a step.